Hey YouTube Void, what's going on? How was your week? Hi, my name is Rachel. I am an artist slash part-time reseller who makes part-time pay, who is also obsessed with sustainability, saving things from the landfill, climate change is real, and rolling all of that into one fun video series that nobody's watching, but I'm still doing, probably because it keeps me accountable. Oh, so this drink, this lovely drink, which is kind of celebratory of St. Patrick's Day, even though, well, it's Christmas themed. So, like you do. But St. Patrick's Day was Tuesday. But it feels like with this week, and I'm not even just talking personally, I'm just talking like in general with the world, you need a drink. Like anybody else feeling like anxiety because it just seems like every time I turn on the TV, something's going on with the economy. And, the economy is going to affect sales. And that's really difficult when you're trying to create a business, especially based on empathic capitalism, which is like trying to also give back in addition to making money. And it's like, the economy is like, screw you. I mean, if it wasn't the jobs numbers that just came out, which were horrible, or then suddenly inflation is on the rise and now gas prices are through the roof. And it's like, that was the one thing I was like happy about because, I live in Southern California, which means you drive everywhere and it takes you forever to get everywhere. But it's like, at least with cheap gas prices, I was like, oh, it's fine if I go down to Los Angeles an extra day, like to take more classes or to do A, B, C, and D. Now I'm like, okay, how do I conserve so that I'm not like, spending a ton of money on gas, even though I drive a Prius. So, and the problem is that it's like, not to get political, but since nobody's watching this, who cares? But it's like, once gas prices go up, that means everything else is going to go up. And you think the post office is not going to increase their prices, and UPS and FedEx, which I hate FedEx personally, personal opinion. But like, sorry if you work at FedEx. If like the two people watching this video work at FedEx, I apologize. But not my favorite place. Anyways, it's like, everything else is going to go up. And you see like no end in sight, and you see craziness everywhere, and you see people who are angry and divided, and you're just like, ah. What's a girl with two small businesses to do? So that's where we are. And not to bury the lead, but this week of sales was, it's okay. Not great. Last week was actually pretty nice. Like for me, for being a small business and part-timer, most people would be like, it's still not great, but this week was even worse. And we'll go through it.
Hey, listen, on your way back up, bring some popcorn. With butter.
It's Sunday right now, and the weekend sales have been pretty non-existent. And so there's this panic that sets in. And I am so extremely grateful that my sales are not going to determine whether I have a roof over my head or food on my table. And that's why I've been such a big proponent of like giving back. If you've watched, all two of you watched my videos, I'm just like, that relief knows no bounds. I also get paid as an artist, and I did do a lot of work as an artist last week, so I got that money this week, which was helpful. But it's hard not to be like frozen in fear and to be like, just want to give up sometimes. But these are the times where you realize that instead of being like like delusionally optimistic, being like, let's look at the bright side and all this stuff. Like, yes, it's good to be positive, but also being like honest with the situation and understanding, okay, things are crazy. And if everybody's hurting with the economy, people are not going to buy as much stuff on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. That's just a fact. Like, people are going to pay for what they need to first, and all that other stuff is extra. And so, what do I have control over? I have control over the fact that I still have a huge death pile. So let's get all of that stuff up, because maybe there's something in that death pile that somebody really wants. I have control over the prices and all of that stuff. And I am loath to promote anything. I'm loath to like crazy drop the prices for some reason on Poshmark. Everybody who sends me an offer for 50% off. And I'm just like, I'm not a garage sale. I actually spent time and washed things and sometimes repair things and taking photographs and listing. Like, I actually spent some time. So like, when you're asking for 50% off of what I'm listing, I get it. Like, you know, the price of something is the price somebody's willing to pay. But it hurts me internally, and I can't do that. You know, I'm part-time, so I don't have an unlimited amount of time to like try and just get everything out of the house for $1. So, okay, what do I do? I have control over how I spend my time, how much time I spent listing. So how much time, how I list things, you know, the details that I use, like what am I going to put in the title? What am I going to put in the description that is going to give the buyer as much information as possible so that, you know, they will feel confident purchasing, because if money is scarce, they don't want to be screwed over. So those are all the things I have control over, and those are the things that I will try and work on for this next week, including my taxes, which need to get done. And yeah. I've never been one of those people that's like, I never want to pay taxes and stuff. Like, I'm actually okay with paying for things like, you know, education and the police department, the fire department, things that, you know, keep me safe, that are important to our community. Other stuff, not so much. And I think most of us, regardless of what political side you fall on, just feel like the money that we're giving to our US government, which is where I am, is like not being used well. And so, yeah, thinking of like handing over money to the government right now is just like filling me with a sense of dread. But anyways,
oh, get over yourself.
I will be doing that next week. So that's what I have control over. That's what I will do. The rest is here, and, you know. I wanted to talk a little bit about Empathic Capitalism, which is my business mission statement in general. What is Empathic Capitalism? I don't know. I made it up. I at first called it Compassionate Capitalism, but then I realized that the guy from Amway really like ran with that one, and not a big fan of him. So, you know, I created my own. What is Empathic Capitalism to me? Understanding the idea of empathic capitalism is basically just understanding that I am part of a community, that like it's important to me not only to do my best with the businesses that I have created, especially when it comes to reselling. Like, I mean, I'm not going to win all the time, but like taking the best photos I can and providing a good description and getting stuff out the door in a timely manner, and packaging things up carefully, like providing a good product, but also like realizing that I am part of a community. I think capitalism on its like base core is, I mean, it's great. Everybody loves capitalism. Who doesn't love having money? Nobody. I mean, they say money can't buy happiness, but the people who say that are the people with money, because money buys freedom. Money buys time. Money allows you to like, I don't know, get your teeth fixed and have food on the table and help pay your dad's rent because his social security check doesn't even begin to cover, you know, any rent. So capitalism is great. The problem that I find, at least in the year of our Lord 2026, is that it just seems to have no morals. Because it's a business, right? It's a business concept. Or at least that's what I'm calling it. I could be completely off base. But anyways, it's like the concept of just making money. And almost like, however you can do that is, the correct way to do it, without realizing there are people and, things around us that are affected by our choices that we make. So for me, it's about like being part of a community, realizing that I am extremely privileged, that regardless of if I have 0 sales for the next week, I will still be here. And there are some people who are not that lucky. So because I have that privilege, it is my responsibility to help those around me. And it doesn't mean like everybody just sits around and you just give people, all this stuff. It's just like without judgment, like just being a part of the world around us and taking care of that world around us. And that's where I'm at, and it's not like 50 cents from every one of my sales goes to the Second Harvest Food Bank, which is a food bank in Southern California. And, that money could probably go to me, and I could definitely use that. But, there are people worse off than me, and people with kids who are worse off than me. And, I don't know. Maybe it's me being an artist and trying to, like, as an actor, like, understand people, like what they're the best, the most favorite word when with acting is like intention. Why do people tick? What makes them do this? What makes them do that? How do you like understand what their motivations are? And like, yeah, that need from me as an artist to understand characters and to understand people is that need to like be a part of the world around me and to understand the people around me and to help like with the health of the world around me. So I know it's people like, honestly, like I'm just waiting for somebody to like hate watch this and then this to go viral so that everybody can make fun of me, because it's probably the stupidest thing on the face of the planet. No other business really runs like this, but I don't know. I just feel like there's got to be a better way. And right now I'm not proving my point with my sales, but we're going to keep going. I'm going to keep going and keep doing these videos, even though, I'm the only one watching it. Well, actually my boyfriend watches this because I make him watch it. So he's the one who tells me I ramble a lot, which is fair. Speaking of empathic capitalism, so I do donate to the Second Harvest Food Bank. I actually finally got to volunteer there and work a shift there on St. Patrick's Day, no less. And lifting up 45-pound boxes of cabbage. Somewhere a leprechaun is laughing at me right now. But anyways, it was great. It was a chance for me to see like where the money I donate goes to and how they operate. And it's really cool. I met a lot of really great people. I had a great time. Unfortunately, I can't do it regularly because it's far away from me. It took me like 2 hours to get home. Welcome to Southern California. And so I have to like be careful, especially with gas prices right now. So I will hopefully set up another time to volunteer next month. And I also volunteer at like for an interfaith thing where it's like there are a lot of different churches and synagogues and stuff that take turns at a specific church and help feed people who are in need, like bring food and stuff. And I've been doing that for the last year or two. So yeah. And yeah, like the video that nobody watched, like I brought, last week I brought pizzas to the employees at the Goodwill bins. Not the most perfect timing with everything going on with the economy, but I've been wanting to do it for a long time. They probably get paid a lot less than I do, and I don't get paid a lot of times. So, it was important to me to say thank you. I shop at the bins all the time, and I've always had a great time, and they always work hard, and they deserve a little extra something. So I did that. So we'll continue. It just is hard, like as you have less and less, it's hard to give back. But that's where I think the determination comes in from me, and being like, okay, I know it's going to be a little bit harder, but it's important. It's important to look out for each other. And maybe one small step will lead to another small step from somebody else. And we'll get out of this like very selfish mentality that I feel we are in 2026. And, maybe I'm incorrect in this assumption, and maybe that's just the algorithms showing me everything. But yeah, I'm just exhausted. And so they always say, be the change you want to see in the world. And so I will be the change that I want to see on the YouTube. And I will watch me do it and succeed or not. But at least I'm going to give it everything I have. So apologies for the bra straps. It's very tacky. It's tacky day today, y'all. And I say y'all. Or I'm sorry, and I say y'all. Y'all. That's it. I'm from California originally. I'm from Northern California originally, but I'm not from the South. And so I have totally appropriated. My apologies. So
1 hour later.
yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go through this I already used the word anemic. So lackluster week. Okay, so just for a little bit of housekeeping, my sales are for the day that I take the packages to the post office. So for example, my sales for Monday will be the sales from the weekend, since I generally don't go to the post office on Saturday or Sunday unless there's a holiday on Monday. Yada, yada, yada. I'm getting to what I call my pre-net for the week. Basically, I'm taking out my first round of deductions from my gross profit to get closer to what my actual net profit is. The deductions that I'm taking out this week so far will be the platform fees. They will also be any shipping labels that I have to purchase, which would be on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. The other two places I sell on, I don't. They provide me the labels, so I don't have to worry about that. And also any commissions that I have to pay out. I sell quite a few things on consignment for just a few friends. That equals what I like to call my pre-net. And then after the last week of the month, the first week of the next month, I will go over like all the other deductions that happened for that month so that we get to our actual like net profit and see what the difference is between the gross profit and the net profit, which as of February was like 1/3. So
help me, I'm poor.
On Monday, Monday was such a hopeful day. I was feeling great on Monday. We had 7 sales, 5 on eBay, 2 on Poshmark. Yeah, I'm just going to live in Monday for a second because it's pretty bad after that. But thankfully, Monday was decent, at least for me. So on eBay, we have a cabby teal preppy gray polka dot cardigan. From all the YouTube fashion videos I'm watching, polka dots are in right now. Take that with a grain of salt, but that's what I'm seeing. It sold for $13 with $5 shipping. eBay released $15.15 to me. Then I had the Simpsons Monopoly pewter game pieces. They were super fun. Got them at the bins. They sold for $10 with $4 shipping. eBay released $11.82. Then I have this Majestic Threads Chicago Cubs tank top. It sold for $10 with $5 shipping. eBay released $12.56. Then I had this vintage Royal Albert cottage pattern replacement plate. I have so much like tea cups, tea saucers, plates, all this stuff from my mom and my grandparents, and we don't use a lot of it. So I wanted to make sure they all went to a good home. So this was the first out of a lot. I've only listed like a couple so far, so I need to work on getting that up. But right now, I don't think people are looking for teacups when the economy is having fun. So Anyways, it sold for $16 with $10 shipping. eBay released $22.18. Lastly, on eBay, I sold this full blue fleece-lined pair of jeans, size 52-30. They sold for $12 with $12.50 shipping, and eBay released $20.82. On Poshmark, I sold this vintage pressed glass paperweight. It sold for $25, and eBay released $20. This was sold on consignment. And then we have this vintage hypnotic hieroglyphic dress. It was super fun, sleeveless, great for summer, which is coming up. Sold for $25 as well, and Poshmark released $20. So Poshmark really for the win. The total that was released to me from the platforms was $122.53. Of course, we have 5 labels and a commission fee to take out, which were $5.29, $5.27, $5.89, $9.44, $11.80. And then the commission for the paperweight was $10. After all that was taken out, we have a grand total of $74.84. On Tuesday, we have one sale. Happy St. Patrick's Day. On eBay, we sold a 2012 Boy Scouts of America Ranger Handbook. It sold for $10 with $5 shipping, and eBay released $12.56. The shipping label for that sale cost $5.22. And so my total for that day was $7.34. That'll pay for a bottle of water at Disneyland, maybe? On Wednesday, we had 2 sales. So getting better. One on eBay, one on Poshmark. On eBay, we had a kids Air Jordan Michael Jordan holographic shirt. I love this. It was so fun. It sold for $10 with $4.50 shipping. eBay released $12.11. On Poshmark, we have this new Tempt Me red, white polka dot bathing suit. It sold for $11, and Poshmark released $8.05. So together, those 2 sales came to $20.16. And then we had a $5.52 shipping label that we had to subtract for a grand total of $14.64. So double Tuesday, which makes sense because we went from 1 to 2 sales. Yay! On Thursday, we had 3 sales, and they were all on eBay. So we have 1, 2, 3. And if you know that commercial, you know that commercial.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
A good question. Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 3.
If there's anything I can't stand, it's a smart owl.
First, we have 2 small gunned Peter Rabbit plushies. One was Flopsy and one was Jemima Puddle Duck. I hope I said that right. Anyways, they sold for $13 with $6 shipping, and eBay released $15.99. I grew up with gunned plush, so whenever I see it in the bins, I will pick it up. Next, we have this mini Bowden white tulle girl skirt with like gold stars on it. It sold for $11 with $5.50 shipping, and eBay released $14 to me. Then we have this Skagen Denmark ladies watch. It needed a battery, so it did not work. It sold for $10 with $4.50 shipping, and eBay released $12.14. So the grand total that was released to me from eBay was $42.13. We then subtract the shipping labels, $5.20, $5.62, and $5.77, which leaves us with $25.54. So the grand total for the week is $122.36. So less than half of what I took home last week. And listen, I'm just like saying the comments that I would hear in my head because like, honestly, any hate comments, fair. But like, when you look at the amount that I'm charging for shipping and the amount that I'm actually paying for shipping, it's showing a few things. I do not update my shipping in general. So if I'm listing something, I'm usually like giving a shipping cost that is relevant to the time period that I'm listing it in. Should I be updating my shipping costs? Yes. Especially because shipping costs have gotten, just in the last year, have gotten insane. Like, I cannot now like send something across the street that's like under 4 ounces, which is like a tie, for less than like $5. And that's like when I first started, which was not that long ago, it was the pandemic. So like 6 years ago, maybe 5, 6 years ago, maybe a little bit before the pandemic, but like it was like $3. So fun. But I realized that my shipping costs are like not matching up with the amount that I'm actually paying. So I'll keep that in mind as I'm listing now. But yeah, all of this stuff is just information, and then what I choose to do with that information is, I think, what is the important part. So all that being said, here's to anybody watching this video who is reselling or has any kind of a small business. I think it is tough right now. I think it's probably always been tough. So much mad respect, and let's try and get through this together and support each other. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. As always, no need to smash the like button. I don't even know what that means. It just seems like everybody's like, smash the like button. Oh, I need you to, now it's engagement, and let's hype up the video, and let's subscribe, and here's my Patreon, and let me show you my affiliate links. And oh yeah, here's my commercial because this video is sponsored by, and mad props to everybody who needs to make money. That's not me. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to like start a movement that nobody's ever going to see, but you know, I'm going to keep plugging along. And yeah, thanks for sticking it out, and we will work to continually do better with these videos, at least for my enjoyment. Stay safe, stay sane out there. Carpe Diem.